going on, go-getters? In this week's episode, we talked to Mia Mighty Hopkins.
We're playing basketball. We actually got a Globetrotter on the podcast,
Yes,
bro.
sir.
Mia's energy, Mia's vibe is super tough. I mean, she's giving back to the community. She's just talking about discipline. Mia is really, really tough. Make sure you check out this podcast. And make sure you also subscribe. Stop playing with the subscribe button.
Like, share with a friend. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell. If you enjoy, we hope you do. Keep watching.
Boom! Mighty Mia Hopkins
Welcome,
welcome. Building. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, man. I can't complain. Life is good. So, how'd you get the name Mighty? Have you always been mighty, or did you have to become mighty to become mighty?
I mean, I feel I've always been mighty, and then it just unveiled itself on me.
It was given to you
Yeah,
by the gods.
bestowed.
Bestowed.
There we go.
That's tough. So, Mia, how long you been playing ball? How long you been a hooper?
I've been a hooper my whole life.
Yeah?
So my grandfather was a coach for GAR,
Mm-hmm.
so I was pretty much born in the gym.
Okay, cool. So, you know anything about Bob Sura? I know
Absolutely.
he's like
Oh,
a GAR legend for he's like one of the only guys to go to the NBA from GAR, right?
Facts.
Yeah.
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 My parents went to high school with them there.
Oh,
At
that's what's
GAR?
up.
Yeah.
So
Mom
you're
knew
a
pretty well.
you're a graduate of Pittston area. You're from the area, and you've always been a hooper. And just recently, you got signed to the Harlem Globetrotters, right?
Yes, sir.
So how'd that deal come about? Like, let me backtrack for a little bit here. So you've always been in the gym. You've always been playing basketball. Did you know from the beginning that you had a passion for basketball? Like, did you know this is who I am, this is what I want to be, and this is what I want to, like, this is what I want my life to become?
As a child, I played all sports.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I played everything. I even
Yeah.
played golf.
Really?
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
You
just
still
getting
good?
into that now.
You
Yeah.
still golf a little bit?
Like to hit them greens.
I used to be better when I was a kid. Let's
All
just
right.
say that.
Okay.
Because I would just go up and whack the ball, and everyone would be like, yo, who is this kid? But now, like, I
Okay.
feel like I try and hit it too hard, and it doesn't go very far at all.
Right.
So,
But an athlete, though.
all-around athlete.
Yeah.
And then once I got to, like, 8th, 9th grade, they were kind of like, my family was kind of like trying to push me towards one thing or another. They let me pick, like, what do you really want to do? And I knew it was definitely basketball.
Mm.
And then I think it just continued to evolve, though, like, over time.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't right off the bat I knew. I think it just continued to evolve as I got older, and I kept leveling up. And then I went D1
Mhm.
from high school, so that was a big thing. And then
Right.
it was always, like, right there type thing. Like, I was, like, always believing that I could reach any level because it was always right there.
So you think that the reason that you geared towards basketball is because you got, like, that was where you were most talented naturally?
Yeah, and it was where I think I was the most myself.
On the court.
Yeah, like, expressing myself. I mean, just even playing pickup or with the guys,
Yeah.
that's just me.
Yeah. Basketball is a cool sport, man, because it's one of the only sports that is really finesse and it's like swaggy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, on the court, you have to have you get your own aura almost.
Yeah.
Where you can have that with football, but football is like individually grit. With basketball, you could be swaggy, you can be finesse, you could be tough. I mean, there's like a ton of different ways to express yourself on the court.
Facts.
So that's
a lot
cool.
of sports are building towards that now. I feel like a lot of people focus a lot more on, like, the flashy aspect of athletics these days than they ever did, especially in, like, football and stuff too.
But I think that's that, like, what you said is true. Like, you were able to express yourself there. I think all of us, like, fundamentally, in some way, no matter what our craft is, there's a desire to express ourselves.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Whether it's like you knit, whether you golf, whether you play a sport, whether you do podcasting, like, everybody has the fundamental desire to want to express themselves.
Definitely agree with that.
And so, did you begin to know who you were through playing basketball, or did you have to find yourself through playing? Like, do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, did you learn who Mia was playing basketball, or did you have to find yourself while playing basketball?
I think it's a balance between both, but I think somehow I always end up back to my love to basketball. Always. No matter how far I drift off, I always end up back to how much I love basketball and my passion towards, like, expressing myself on the court.
Yeah, so it's like a grounding experience. Like, it's like a grounding thing for you. It keeps you grounded. Damn, that's cool. So from high school, you got a Division I scholarship.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where'd you go? Where'd you end up
Monmouth.
going? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Monmouth
We went to a
University.
camp down there.
Yeah,
for
Oh, that's
football.
cool.
It's a pretty cool campus.
Yeah,
Beautiful
it's a cool
campus.
spot. Yeah,
sure.
for sure.
But I heard your experience wasn't too great while at Monmouth.
Yeah, so I actually transferred. There was a bunch of us that transferred,
Mhm.
and I took my talents to Bloomsburg.
Mm.
And I kind of listened to a lot of people on that decision.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm a big advocate of don't listen to other people when you're making a decision, because
Yeah.
I had to live with that decision, and
Yeah.
I was stuck there. You know, like I went from Monmouth D1,
Mm-hmm.
D1 treatment to little Bloomsburg,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't the best basketball experience. So I'm like,
Right.
what did I do? You know?
Yeah.
Right.
So I had a very untraditional path, because then I was like, I'm not staying here.
Mm.
So
What was the schooling aspect like? Were you somebody who enjoyed schooling while you were younger, or was it not really for you?
that's a great question. I would say I enjoyed being like in school, but I didn't like having to sit there the whole
Yes.
time.
Yes.
Energetic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very
daydreaming.
energetic. Yeah.
It's that athlete in you.
Yeah. But I always did good in school though. Like even in college, I was like 4.0. So
Wow.
I did really good in college. I had the honors and stuff like that. And then I went to Westchester. So I
Mhm.
decided to take my schooling to Westchester for basketball.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I was going to school for exercise science. So I tried to avoid redshirting by
Mhm.
going to Bloomsburg. And then when I went to Westchester, I had to
Yeah.
because I transferred twice now. So I had a redshirt. So I went 2 years there. And my last year, we actually did really well. We won 18 games in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And we were the best team in the East. So, I mean, everything kind of came into a fruition at the end of my college career.
So I wonder, did you experience, was there any battles with your ego going from Division I to then, being treated like a king, like a queen rather, and going to Bloom and, you just being another person on campus and, you're not really given that attention that you were at Monmouth?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I remember sitting in my dorm room watching, high-level Division I basketball on the TV on ESPN and being like, yo,
Mhm.
I should be out there.
Yeah. And so you had to, is that something that you've had to, learn through self-discovery? Wait, I have to check my ego and, just do what I love.
Yeah,
Back
keep
to the
pushing forward.
basics.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
And it's happened more than once in my life. So
yeah.
it's like the same lessons will keep
Yes.
repeating themselves until you figure them out.
Until you get them, right?
Mhm.
But then that epiphany really happens, and then that's when, that self-growth really starts to accelerate.
Yeah.
You get it.
Mhm.
But, man, so... See, I kind of shared that same experience when I was in high school. I was the football player, and I was getting a little bit of attention from colleges, and so I didn't know how to handle that. I don't think I knew how to handle that attention from my friends and from girls or from whatever it was, and so I
Right.
think my head got big until I hit a wall, and then it was damn, maybe there's some humility that needs to be learned here. Maybe I need to be more
Mhm.
humble. So that's cool though. So you went from Monmouth to Bloom to Westchester,
yes.
balling out at Westchester.
Yep.
And then from where, I know you said you wanted to go play overseas. That was your initial dream, right?
Yeah.
Or that was your initial path. So did that end up happening, or how did you go from Westchester to where you are now with the Globetrotters?
So when I was at Westchester, I kind of always said I was going to play overseas, but
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really know how I was going to make that happen. And
Mm-hmm.
I talked to a few agents along the way, but it just wasn't vibing. And then some girl saw one of my videos on Instagram. I did this shooting challenge, and she saw it and she reached out and she asked me to play in this tournament in France called the Mediterranean Cup, which is an exposure event.
Yeah.
But I had to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
She was just looking to fill the spots. So at this point, though, I was literally about to graduate college, didn't have any money at all.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how am I going to spend $1,000 and go to France? And also my mom's telling me that this girl is probably not a real person.
Right.
So I asked my grandpa, and he lent me the money. And then I ended up going over there to France to the Mediterranean Cup. And I did okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think I averaged probably 12 and 8 or something like that. So nothing crazy, but just enough. And, the film was nice. I was in a nice FIBA jersey overseas, what coaches want to see.
Uh-huh.
So I got just enough film to be able to send that out to different coaches. So I cold emailed thousands of coaches. Literally went on Eurobasket.com, just looked up so many coaches, was just emailing them all my film.
Wow.
I got one offer to the Czech Republic, super random, super sketch. And
Wow.
I went, and then they were not even trying to pay for my flight and stuff. Still went over there, was hooping for a minute, and then there was another American, and we figured out they were trying to make us like compete. And then, because we're the same position, which is just weird to do because you only get 2 Americans. So you usually get like a guard and a forward or something.
Sure.
So we're the same position, but we were friends. So we realized they're trying to like put us against each other pretty much. And then they pretty much played games with us, and they didn't like either of us. So we could tell they were trying to get rid of us. So we're in this tournament. The very last game, made a game-winning shot, and I got fired the next day.
Damn, it's cold out there.
Yeah.
It's cold.
Mm-hmm.
After traveling all that way. Is that your first time leaving the country too, going overseas?
It wasn't the first time. I went overseas for like a Europe trip with Monmouth, which was cool.
Oh, yeah.
Very cool. But this was like the second, or actually the third big time, because after France.
Damn.
That's crazy.
But this is the first time like on my own without any American friends and stuff like that. Yeah.
And
so
you're paying for all that, no insurance. Like, you have no idea how that's going to go.
Are they going to pay me?
Yeah.
Like,
You're in the void.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, how is your perspective evolving? Like, when you're in different countries, like, the culture here, playing basketball here is kind of like one thing, but then you go overseas and you see how they're doing things over there.
Like, what's that like?
So different.
Really?
So different, right?
So different. Like, here, we're treated like royalty, even just as basketball players growing up. So to go over there and don't really have anything, there's sometimes no trainer.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have the luxury of having like a strength coach or any of that stuff, really. Yeah. Just random stuff over there. You're just out there. Like, it depends on where you are, too. Everywhere is different.
Yeah, but you've been to like, what, 15 different countries by now?
Now 32.
32 different countries?
Oh, my God.
Just hit a bunch.
Damn.
Yeah, this summer.
That's nuts.
So
we got to talk about that. We got to go there soon.
Got to go in there because Kevin and I plan on going to a trip to Colombia in a couple months, which would be cool.
We didn't get to go there.
Yeah. But so did you discover a passion doing this, or did you know I always wanted to travel?
I knew I always wanted to travel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this was like your vessel. Basketball was like your vessel, but
you're
really doing it now.
Yeah, for
32 countries.
It's the best way to do it. Just tie it with something you love doing, and it'll help you a lot.
Definitely.
That's like kind of what we're trying to do.
So what are some of the Mount Rushmore countries you've been to? Some of your favorite countries?
Definitely Greece.
Greece is tough.
My favorite one.
Greece is tough.
He's been to Greece.
Yeah. I went to Greece. I went to Athens, Greece.
Ooh, me too.
Where the Greek freak was originated.
That's awesome. Italy.
Italy seems dope.
Montenegro.
Where's that at? What continent is that in?
Europe. It's by Serbia.
Okay.
Yeah, it's between Serbia and Croatia over there somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah. I really like South America as well. Argentina, Chile.
Man, that's cool. The culture, it's like a shock. Like, you go there and it's just so different.
Yeah.
So different.
So different to how we live and how we experience things. But in the same sense, it's also very similar. We're all humans.
Yeah.
And we all kind of have values and beliefs and loved ones and stuff like that, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So how much is that, like, travel impacting your character, do you think? Like, because I've only really been out the country one time to a few different states, so I haven't seen much. But what's that, like, doing to your character while you're doing it? And how is that affecting your dream of becoming a basketball player, like seeing all these different places and whatnot?
Definitely evolving over time. And especially when you come back here, not much changes.
Yeah.
Like, very little changes. And it's just bizarre. I realized that even in college. Like, I come back and everyone that's here is still doing the same exact thing. And I'm like, what is going on? And then I really started traveling. And now I definitely feel like it's influencing my character even more just as a person. And just seeing so many different things and talking to all different types of people.
Yeah.
So is there anything like revolutionary within yourself that you learned through traveling?
Definitely.
Specific.
I don't know specific, but definitely a lot.
Yeah.
Bunch of puzzle pieces.
Yes.
I can imagine.
Yes, exactly.
I hope that that's a big part of my life going forward. Like, that's like, I hope to get to a point in life where I'm so, like, stable within myself financially, mentally, and physically that I can just take a chunk of my life and do something very similar to that and just travel, like, a bunch of different countries in Europe, go to South America, that trip we have coming up, like, a lot of those. I want to dedicate a big portion of my life to just traveling. I've always wanted to do those kinds of things. It seems so, like, even for what we do, like, it'll broaden your perspective and your ideas so much, I feel like. At least that's the vibe it gives to me.
For sure.
So I'm very excited.
Yeah. I think it gives you, like, a deeper intro of the world. Like, I think, you know, we're from this area, and I don't know if you can relate to this, but I think a lot of people specifically from this area get caught in like a small town mindset.
Yeah.
You know
Definitely.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So like when you get out and see the world, you see like there's literally a whole new world out there, right?
Yeah.
And in that new world, there's different ideas and there's different philosophies and there's different peoples and cultures and all these things that make you rethink everything you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like kind of flops everything that you think and, you know, upside down. So, yeah, man, traveling is really cool. Do you have any places that you wish to go? Like, do you have any places that you think you really want to get to before it's all said and done?
There's so many places at the same time. That's the thing. And
Yeah.
I feel like I might not even know some places that might be my favorite place.
Yeah, true.
And I've always felt that way. Like, when I got to Chile, I didn't know I would love Chile that much.
Yeah.
What do you like about Chile? What was in Chile that you really like?
The
got down
vibe.
with? Yeah?
As soon as I got there, it was like a mountain, but we were like in Chile, like by a city in Santiago. And then we kept going through Chile, and then we were like on a beach. It was just good vibes all around. Just the people.
Energy.
Yeah, every time we're in a taxi, they're like talking to us. Like, just their energy was just welcoming.
Yeah. It's not so much like that in the U.S. all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in some places it is, but you go to the big city, you're nobody, man. You're just a little fish.
We just came from the city, so
Really?
yeah,
Yeah,
we were just in New York.
Oh, okay. Basketball?
No, we just went for a little trip to New York, and
Okay.
we were just saying how fast like the people move there.
Yeah.
Is that, can you get down with that, or are you more like a slow-paced person?
I like both. I like
Yeah?
to switch it up.
Yeah. Do you think what do you think? Do you want to like settle down somewhere, or do you want to kind of live nomadic and just kind of stay on the move, you know, like always on the go?
Both.
Yeah.
Both,
The middle way. All right.
For sure. But I mean, the dream is definitely to have some vacation homes where
No
I can
doubt.
bop around. For
Yes.
sure.
Yeah. So you're a Globetrotter. You know, a lot of people might think that's their final dream, and you're 28. So is this it, or
This
like
is a stepping stone.
this is just it? This is just a stepping stone, right?
Mhm.
So what else you got? What else are you trying to manifest? What else are you trying to bring into fruition?
We in the wisdom of the uncertainty. So I mean,
Yeah.
the universe knows better than me. But I'm
True.
definitely still trying to hoop. Definitely hoop still
Yep.
on the horizon right now, and I'm working on my body, working on my game. I'm ready to go.
That's
Yeah.
good.
That's cool.
So at your time with the Charters, like, how was that for you? I mean, I imagine you're still there. You're still doing it.
Yep.
So-
Different experience though,
Yeah.
right? Like different experience than just being on the road and competing, right? It's
so
a different
different.
thing, right?
It's so different.
So what's the difference in the dynamics between really competing in like the college level
Mhm.
and then being with the Harlem Globetrotters?
Well, I think mentally it's very hard because you have to travel every single day. I didn't realize until I was
Yeah.
like doing it, like packing your bag every single day and going to a new hotel
Yeah,
That's
you guys
hard.
are touring all over, right? All over
Every
America.
day.
Oh my God.
every day. Yeah.
What does that do to like an athlete? Like, does that take a toll on your body? Like, how are you still finding time to maintain your mental health while like staying fit and like working out and doing all that kind of like? How you doing that? Traveling?
Discipline.
Yeah.
A lot of discipline.
Yeah.
And it's hard to be disciplined when you're overseas. They don't even have a real weight room or one at all.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got to come up with a lot of body weight stuff too. And late nights, early mornings, because, I mean, if you're traveling every single day from like 9 a.m., you don't
Yeah.
get back till like sometimes 11
Mhm.
p.m. Like, by the time you're back, either you're exhausted or
Yeah.
sometimes I'll be able to go to the gym and I'll go in the morning.
Mm. How mentally tolling is that kind of lifestyle?
Yeah, it's mental. It's
Yeah.
very mental.
Yeah.
Like, compared to physical,
Yeah.
I think it's more mental than physical for sure.
Does that help you like with your discipline? Like, does it help you to like kind of put things into perspective? Like, oh, maybe this workout isn't so hard because of all this other, like, I got to wake up at this time. We're touring all day. We're doing all this crazy shit.
Facts.
Like, does that make other things easier in your life?
Yeah, I think so because it makes me like feel like I'm listening to myself.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing what I said I was gonna do, regardless of the crazy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I heard somebody say one time that creating confidence is keeping your word with yourself. You know what I mean?
yes,
So being on the road, it's like you have a lot of options. Like, can I get this? I seen you've been like doing outside workouts and stuff
Yep.
like that, like getting
Mhm.
creative and just
Mhm.
moving your body and keeping yourself, good and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
you have to keep that word with yourself because this is like your body is ultimately your business, right?
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
You
So
gotta take care of it.
very important to me. So I
Yeah.
think you got to be disciplined out here. It's easy to fall off, I would say,
Yeah.
if you're
Mhm.
not mentally
Mm.
disciplined and
Yes.
Yeah.
tuned into that. But
Mm.
I think also, you have to be mentally tough in regards to shooting and just doing stuff within the show.
Yeah.
Like, because once it's all said and done, when the lights are on, you only get one shot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, right now I'm shooting one shot. Like, gotta make it.
Yeah.
Like,
Gotta make it.
so, I mean, it's different than when you're actually playing and you're just feeling good when you pull up. I don't know if you guys play basketball, but
yeah,
like,
no, I do a little bit of pickup work.
yeah.
Oh, man.
So when you feel good is when you typically shoot,
Yeah.
not in the second quarter or the third play.
Yeah.
So it's different. Like, you know when your play is coming, you know when you have to shoot. So you have to put yourself in your own flow. You have to put yourself like charged up, ready to go. Even if you just came in the game, so you have to be your own energy going into that.
Yeah. Man, all that's interesting. I want to pull out a couple things you just said. First thing is, I want to know what you think about this. So you're from the Pittston area, right? You're familiar with the Wilkes-Barre area. You're familiar with the Scranton area, and I'm sure you know that we have a lot of good athletes in this area.
Yeah.
And not a lot of athletes like really break that barrier of like high school to college and then college to professional, right? But you talk about discipline. So I think, one of those factors for why a lot of these athletes aren't breaking that barrier is just that discipline.
Yeah.
Because you have to show up, you have to put the work in, you have to be able to do the work in the dark.
Definitely.
So that everything could, come together when the lights are on, like you said. So how did you develop discipline? Like, how did you develop that? Because it's not easy. It's not easy to do the work when nobody's watching.
Yeah.
True.
Especially at a young age.
That virtue can carry you throughout your entire life. It can create you into a mogul. So how did you create discipline?
I also agree that what you're saying about a lot of college athletes or high school athletes don't come out of here. And I think a lot of it, too, is because of, blaming anything that's going on, like coaches or circumstance in general. So I think that's a part of it, too, like the perseverance side of it. I think you need to have discipline to keep leveling up, but you also have to have perseverance to say, I'm doing this no matter what comes my way.
Yeah.
Like, those obstacles are somehow refining you into a better athlete / person.
Yeah.
So you got to be able to take the hits, like, and not fold. I mean, I think the reason why I'm still going is because I just haven't folded. Like, there's been people all along the way that have been said to be better than me, but I'm still here and I'm still pushing. And I think it's because I just persevered through everything that life threw at me, and I just made it evolve me into who I am.
Resiliency.
Yeah.
So did you always know that? Like, did you always know, like, you know what, man, this struggle is going to make me into something better?
Yes.
You always knew that?
Yeah.
Is that something, like, you were taught, like, your parents were giving you these values when you were a young person, like, or is that something you learned on your own? Like, you just, that came to your mind logically?
I think it just came to me.
Yeah?
I think it definitely just came to me. I never wanted to be, like, mediocrity. I never wanted to be that or average.
A lot of people don't share that mindset. A lot of people, when that pressure comes, it's like, I'm done, man. I don't think I can go any further. I don't think I'm tough enough to handle this. So I think that's missing in a lot of, like, young athletes in this area. And I really want to promote that. Like, I want people to listen to these podcasts that are from this area who are athletes and know, man, if I just cultivated these traits, like discipline, like resiliency, like perseverance, like I could be great.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
And I think we're breaking those barriers right now. Like, us doing this right now, you know, and I've always been an advocate of that. And I think just even how far I've come, I think there's going to be girls to follow, boys to follow. You know, like, I think people are going to see, I'm from Pittston and I did this. I'm from Old Forge. Why can't I?
Right.
Like, or something similar or whatever your passion is. Like, people see it. Once they see it, I'm right next to them. I sign their thing. They ask me, how did you get this far? I give them my answer. They're right next to me. They're feeling my vibe. They know that I'm a real person. I really went through this, and now I'm here. So I think sharing
that's so important.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. We need people to be the trailblazers.
Yes.
We need people to set the way, like, show us, like, this is possible. Because in this area, besides, like, the Bob Suras, and we had Greg Skrepnek on the pod.
Oh, very cool.
Who else we got?
Yeah. Seriously, in
there's
terms of athletes,
not many.
The Ishmaels, who else we got?
Yeah, there's not many.
Yeah.
So you're that person.
Appreciate you.
You're that person.
Thank you.
You're paving the way for young athletes to, you know what? I could do this. It is possible. You're a human just like anybody else.
And how does that make you feel? Like, does that drive you to like when you feel like quitting or you feel like giving up or you're in the gym, you got to do one more rep? Like, are you thinking about these things?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. It's more weight. It's more responsibility than just showing up and playing on the court.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
It's even like that for us too, man. Like, it's crazy when you get those comments and you hear those things. It's like, it's very easy to quit on yourself. It's very hard to quit on the people around you. So
I like your support system.
You got to use that to boost you. Like, you got people relying on what we do, what you do, what a lot of people do. You got people relying on you. So we can always quit on ourselves. That's pretty easy. I think for a lot of people, it's easy when nobody's looking to give up. But when you got all those eyes on you watching, it's so hard to give up.
Agreed.
It's impossible for me.
Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to take out from you saying you're constantly on the road, constantly traveling.
Mm-hmm.
See, me, and I know a lot of people share this, you know, coming home at the end of the day is kind of like that balance for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not necessarily the case when you're always on the road. So I'm sure there's a lot of pressure. I'm sure there's a lot of, you know, shit going on in your head. Maybe things going on back home. So how do you ground yourself? How do you, you know, find your center, find your peace when you're always on the road and there's always this pressure on you?
Staying disciplined.
Discipline is freedom.
That really is, I think, the way. And I find myself when I'm not as disciplined starting to get crazy. So
really,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like you go in the drawer, you see the Cheetos, you're like, damn. you get after them Cheetos, and then you know for a while you're not on your game.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool, very cool.
Yep.
Discipline is freedom. You ever heard of Jocko Willink? You ever heard Jocko Willink talk about that?
But it sounds like I would like it.
Discipline is freedom. Waking up early, getting those workouts in, committing to what you said you were going to do.
Yeah.
Who you said you were going to be. Be it.
Exactly.
Right? So, yeah, discipline. Check that out, people.
Oh, yeah.
Learn discipline.
So you're touring when you were touring with the Harlem Globetrotters, is that like a United States thing? Are you going out of the country doing this or just in America?
Definitely out of the States.
Oh,
Been out of the States all summer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
We just got done with out of the States for now. So we have one more little tour right after Christmas until New Year's, and then that's like my off time. So my off time is coming because I've actually been on tour like all summer.
Really?
Like I just got home a day and a half ago.
What do you like to do in your off time then? Like when you get these times down away from
train, discipline, right?
Discipline, about to get hard in here. But yeah, like what's your thing to do outside? Like obviously basketball is your thing, but I'm sure you have other passions and whatnot too. I know you got your clothing brand. I want to get into that. So what else? What do you like to do to keep yourself level-headed, like in your free time, rather than just working out or focusing on your basketball craft? Is it like that? Do you like business? Is that like that your thing?
Yeah, all the above. I still love basketball even in my downtime.
Yeah, of course. Everybody needs a little bit of time off though. I feel like with anything, you'll drive yourself mad.
Correct.
Sometimes you need that though to be the best version of you. But I know like a lot of people like to have something that like keeps them somewhat grounded, especially in that time off when you're not doing that. So what is that for you?
I would say I do love business as well. So I think that also allows me to focus on that, which is good. And then I also like to just chill. Like I like to chill with my girlfriend, and we were just in New York, so we got to just see some stuff and stay in a hotel and just enjoy the vibe.
Yeah, get to just hang out, kick back for a little bit.
Yep.
To the next venture.
Yep.
So tell us about your clothing brand then. How do you pronounce the name?
Starmia.
Starmia? Okay, I didn't know if it was like one combined word or if it was like Star, your name, Mia. So how'd you kick that off? Like what's that? What was that for you originally? Did you always have like ideas like this going through your head? You wanted to get into business, or was this just something that came with like the newfound like the eyes all over you that you have?
It started when I was leaving Greece. I had to come home. I had an injury, and I was headed home from Greece. And for some reason, I just like had a clothing line on my mind, like heavy. Like you'd think I'm super depressed for coming home. I was, but I was also like just caught up in my phone looking up like clothing line and all this stuff. And I'm like, all right, now I got to come up with a name. I was creating words, like using synonyms and like the prerequisite of words and all different stuff. And one day I just went to the waterfall by my house and I just like felt like I was talking to God and I was looking at my tattoos and like I have like a bunch of star tattoos and I just felt like that was it. Like, I don't know. I just had like a moment. I was like, it's the star. And I knew exactly what star it was too. It kind of looks like the Star of Bethlehem. And I just knew. And then I just came up with Starmia. At first it was like, remember I said I was looking up prerequisites of words, like prefixes. Yeah. And it was like I had a Starmia, a Stramia, and then I was just like, no, it's just Starmia.
Yeah. It's kind of symbolic in a way.
Yeah.
That's dope. I like it. That's the jacket right there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's tough. I thought that was a KD jacket at first.
Appreciate it.
That's cool. No, I like the little reference with the 3. That's cool, though.
Thank you.
Because in a way, like, you probably feel as though, like, in many regards, you are a star. Obviously, your name's Mia, so it's a cool little connection there.
Yeah.
At that time, though, like, when you're battling this injury, like, are you thinking at that point, because, I mean, you said it yourself, you're trying to figure out all these different, like, ways you could take business going forward. Are you thinking your basketball career might be messed up at that point? Like, what kind of injury were you battling?
It was just some tendonitis in my Achilles. So, I mean, I didn't think that was the end of the road because I was like 24 at the time. But I don't know, for some reason, it just came over me. I started really like leaning towards that, and it just manifested from there. And I just kind of stuck with it over time, and it just keeps evolving on its own right now, kind of behind the scenes. But our main product right now is actually sports bras. Really? Yeah.
Hey, that's tough. Where can we get them at?
Starmia.com.
Let me check that out. Okay, we have to put a plug right here.
We're actually about to change it to MiaHopkinsWorld.com, and everything's about to go like straight through there.
Yeah. So is that something you want to keep ever growing, you even when basketball is all said and done? Like, is business something you really want to like stake yourself in going forward so you could be good forever? Like, you and your family could be straight and you can get money, you could still be getting paid even into your later years of life. Like, is that something you want to take far?
Definitely. Yeah, for sure. And like many aspects of business, like that, and then also real estate.
Yes. That's big for us over here too.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure out the game.
Yeah, the real estate game's a crazy one. But that's like one surefire way to stay. Like, if you can afford to get into it and you have the mental capacity to do it, that's like one of the best ways, one of the best investments to make sure you're financially stable going forward.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm still very young, so like,
yeah,
I plan to get into that a lot as we go forward. As we start getting paid, like, I'm big on investments, and that's like a surefire way you can become very successful outside of everything, because you never know. Especially like with you, like you were saying earlier, your body is literally your business.
Yeah,
so anything can happen. You never know, and like those things will for sure stake your future forever. And you don't need to rely on your body to own real estate, which is pretty cool.
Facts.
When did you get that business mindset, or like, just the business mindset in general? Did you cultivate that in your earlier years or later in the life?
I mean, I think like everything that we are, we show like signs of it when we're younger.
I think so too.
But I've always just been like competitive and stuff like that. Yeah. And I never really understood it, but I mean, it kind of makes sense now looking back.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think I was always a little rebellious and independent when I was young. So, like, when I was getting older into my 16, 17-year-old years, and I started working for people, I'm like, yo, I hate this shit.
Yeah.
Like, what? I got to figure something out.
Facts.
But, so you said you were competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever feel like you had to work extra hard to compete with the boys in basketball?
That's a great question. But when I was younger, I just felt like I was just better
than the boys?
Yeah. I was just better because I already just like worked out more than them. Like, just shooting in the driveway and stuff was already doing more than they were doing. So then when I would play them, I would just cook them.
How about today? You still cooking them?
Yep.
Yeah, tough. That's tough.
Yeah.
I always wondered, what is a practice like for a Harlem Globetrotter? Like, what are practices like?
Rehearsing a lot.
Really?
Yeah. Pretty much going over what we have to do within the game and the plays. So we actually don't get a lot of time to shoot, but I always utilize all my time that I can. And sometimes we actually take a bus earlier to have that extra time. So whenever we're taking an extra bus, I'm definitely hopping on that so I can get my shots up.
Definitely in the gym, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any plans? Do you still want to play in the WNBA?
Yeah.
That's your goal?
Mm-hmm.
Damn, that's tough. That's a really cool goal.
Thank you.
And what do you think? Like, what do you think your path is to the WNBA?
Getting better and expressing myself to the highest level.
So now, would you typically go, for somebody like yourself, would you go right from if that reality were to happen, would you go right from the Globetrotters to the WNBA, or is the idea to play professionally overseas again and then make your mark that way and go back to the WNBA?
Facts. I don't really know, to be honest, but I actually do have my Brazilian passport.
Yeah.
So I'm able to go there and play on their national teams also, so I'm on my bucket list. So I don't know what the direct path is, but what I've learned is the universe knows better than I know. So we're going to just see how it goes down.
Just got to let it rock.
Sometimes it's the best way to go, man.
Yeah.
Think too much into shit and you'll put yourself in a spiral. But, yeah, are you a person of faith?
Absolutely.
Yeah? That's cool. I remember you saying by the fountain you were, like, talking to God. And, like, that gave you that direction on where you wanted to go.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that plays a lot in your life. Like where you want to go in your values and your morals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Faith first.
Definitely.
I like that a lot.
Thank you.
That's really cool. What do you think about the wage difference between the WNBA and the NBA?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But I think that it's definitely coming along. And I think we're going to see a big change in the next few years for sure.
Yeah. So you'll be rolling in them M's when you get to the WNBA.
It's going to be all divine timing.
Yes, sir. And then we'll get you on the podcast again.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That'll be tough. But yeah, this is great.
Fuck yeah. I mean, hey, man, we're banging them out already. What else, like, what do you, I'm sure I already asked you that, but outside of, like, your current business venture and you playing basketball, what does the future of you hold? Is there anything else, like, you're very passionate in getting into? Like, is there anything content or media related you want to get into, or besides a clothing brand, is there any other type of business ventures you're interested in?
Definitely. I think just motivating people.
Yeah.
If that's through speaking or camps or books.
Yeah.
Whatever platform I decide to, like, really dive into. I mean, it could be any of those or all of them.
Are you a person, do you public speak? Do you go around and do you talk to people? And
yeah, I go to the schools. It's a good time.
Really? What's that? What's it like going back, like doing everything you're doing now, going back to, like, your home state here and then going back to, like, your old high school and, like, talking to those kids? What's that like?
Fire.
Really?
A great time. Yeah, I would say one of the best times for me. Like, even just being able to walk around my middle school.
Yeah.
I have videos of me just, like, walking around after I came with the Globetrotters for, like, the PR day and stuff. Like, I had the opportunity to walk through the halls, and just that video, even when I still watch it, I'm just like,
damn,
that's hype.
Yeah.
That's really cool. We have an opportunity this upcoming Tuesday to go and speak at GAR.
Fire.
We had a guy who's a reverend come on the podcast, and he's also a motivational speaker. His name is Sean Walker.
Nice.
Shout out to Sean Walker. And he's going to invite us to be guest speakers at GAR.
That's awesome.
Which is going to be interesting. It's like, it doesn't even feel real.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know what's going to happen. It's so crazy. Yeah,
I don't know what to expect. That should be wild.
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, like, I do this stuff, I'm, like, terrified of public speaking. That's, like, always been one of my biggest fears.
You just got to let it go.
Yeah.
Just be in the moment, have fun.
Yeah. I'm trying not even to, like, in terms of, like, the thing we have coming up Tuesday, I'm trying to not even think about it that way. Like, they want us there for a reason, so I think no matter what, like, we'll go in there and we'll do our thing. It's just I've never been put in that position before, so I don't know even really what to expect. It's interesting. Because I always avoided shit like that my whole life. I was always terrible at, in my earlier years, I was pretty bad with, like, just communicating and speaking with other people, but that, like, specifically public speaking has always been one of my biggest fears. So I'm very interested to see how that pans out.
I'd say just be you. Yeah. Just be the best you could be, and you'll love it.
Yeah.
It's like this. I mean, it's like with anything, I think is the initial, like, 15, 20 minutes of, like, stress. And then once you get through that, you get the flow. Yeah. It's very similar to this. Like, the first 10, 15 minutes are normally, like, you're breaking the ice a little bit. And then after you get the flow, and it's different.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about when you were talking about finding your flow.
Yeah.
I heard there's a book called Flow by some guy. Yeah.
Mihai Csikszentmihalyi or something.
Mihaly, some Czechoslovakia, some crazy shit. But have you read it?
No, but I've heard about it.
Yeah. And do you read? I like to read too. And they talk about like accomplishing a flow state.
Yeah.
And I think that's interesting. You can accomplish that state in anything: cooking, sport, conversation,
cleaning the dishes.
Yeah. So and I forget how they put it. It was it was like a balance between challenge and interest or something like that. Like if you can connect
And skill.
and if you can connect those two things, you can reach the state. And there was like stories of Bill Russell, like claiming that he was able to know where the ball was going to go before it even like hit the backboard. Like he just was so connected with what was happening in that. Like it's you're so immersified in that moment that like he just knew. I don't know how to explain it, but
Now I have to read it.
yeah, I haven't read it. I have it on my bookshelf, but I haven't read it yet. But so you experienced that in playing basketball. You find like your flow states.
Definitely.
Stuff like that, yeah.
It's the coolest thing ever.
Can you explain your experience in the flow state? Like, how does it feel?
It's almost like you feel numb, but really good, and just everything's working out for you.
Yeah, it's like you're floating. Everything's effortless.
Yeah, effortless.
Like. Yeah. Do you ever experience that when you're like doing the dishes at home? Like, are you able to tap into it? Like in other areas of your life?
I feel like I notice it the most when I'm working out, like weightlifting.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, especially like if I'm like towards the end, and it's like starting to get difficult. Think about how much you have to like focus. You know?
Yeah.
I feel like that preps you almost for that moment.
It's like an intense focus as well, right? This is how he explains it, at least. And I think that it's interesting because top performers have been, talking about this same phenomena through all different types of crafts. Artists claim that they're in this flow state while they're just, drawing stuff, and basketball players, and martial artists, and all this stuff, which I think is really, really cool. And I want to learn more about that.
I want to learn a way to tap into it, like how to like know or like almost metaphysically like push a button, like I'm gonna enter my flow state now. You never really know; it kind of just happens.
Yeah,
and I would like to find a way to master that.
There's like different ways through breathing, through listening to different alpha waves or brain waves in general.
Is that something you're into?
Yeah.
Really?
Spiritual stuff like that?
Yeah.
What kind of books do you like to read?
All different kinds, but mostly business and spiritual.
Yeah?
Self-help.
Four Agreements?
Yes.
You read it? Cool. That's a good book.
Yeah.
I really like that book. And the business books are good too, man, because they open your eyes to a lot. Like,
yeah.
You think you got some stuff figured out, but then they'll introduce you to like new ideas, and you're like, oh man, I got to get into that.
Exactly.
I got to try that for sure. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do here with this house. Like I just landed upon this house, divine timing, like you say. And I think there's an opportunity here financially. Like I think I have the ability to create some passive income. I have a plan to move some friends in here.
Let's go.
And they're just going to pay me some rent and passive income. We have this game downstairs. I'm sure you know business books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. There's a game called Cash Flow.
Oh, I didn't get to play it. You have it?
I have it downstairs,
That's cool.
yeah. And in Cash Flow, you start in the rat race, and you're like given a profession card. So I give you Mighty Mia, you're a basketball player, and your expenses are this much, and whatever. And then you have to be able to buy enough assets to be able to passively, to be able to passively cover your expenses.
Yes.
And once you're able to do that,
that's tough.
Once your assets are able to passively cover your expenses, then you're officially out of the rat race, and you can begin fast tracking and accomplishing your dream. You know what I mean? Which I think is
that's awesome.
It is really cool. So I'm trying to do that in real life.
Yeah.
That's the goal, right?
The game applies to life so much. It's insane. You should literally hear it. He and I will be driving around just talking about business and finance and shit, and we'll literally be referencing shit from the game. It's so symbolic to real life that it's wild.
I always wanted to play it.
Yeah. It's a cool ass game. We've been as of recently, not so much, but when we got it, we were nonstop playing. We played every night, 2-3 hours a night.
You can play with 2 people?
6 people, up to 6 people.
No, but I'm saying, can 2 people play?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So there you go.
I say we'll be playing that.
Christmas present. There it is. That's really cool, though. Do you ever consider your legacy when you make decisions?
Yes.
Is that something that's on your head heavily, or is it just kind of in the background?
No, I think it's on my head heavily.
What is my legacy going to be?
I think it's already kind of outlined. I'm just continuing to fill in the puzzle pieces, like you said.
That's crazy.
I always wonder if the legacy side of life comes from more, because all three of us pretty much, at least in this very moment, our lives have all heavily revolved around athletics and business. So I wonder if you get more of that from athletics or business. I probably worded that terribly. It's all right.
When you think about your legacy,
yeah,
right, and you think about some things that you wish to accomplish, do you ever get scared? Do you ever get worried, damn, that's a big goal, or that's a big accomplishment, or I don't know if I can achieve this?
Not anymore.
Really?
Yeah, I used to kind of, I wouldn't say have fear, but almost like a unknown feeling.
Yeah.
Like it's so far,
Yeah.
you know?
The uncertainty of it.
Yeah. But now that I've manifested this, I don't feel that anymore. I don't think things are out of reach anymore.
So you've hit that space where it's like, whoa, like I've hit this level and it's like, nah, anything is really possible.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yeah. And especially how it went down. I'll briefly tell you how I became a Globetrotter.
Mm-hmm.
So I played overseas, bopped around, and I came back home, and that's when COVID hit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just stuck here.
Mm-hmm.
So for a year, I did at-home workouts. Tim Grover, do you know who that is?
Yeah, relentless.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he has another book, Jump Attack.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that program,
Mm-hmm.
and it was 3 months, and now I could, to this day, do pull-ups, and I'm
Hey.
way stronger than I was before just from
Yeah.
that program, all at home. And I started playing in men's leagues out here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I started cold calling WNBA agents. So I cold called a bunch of them. They want nothing to do with me because, you know, my resume sucks.
Really?
At that point, it sucked. It was just like blotchy overseas stuff, blotchy college. My basketball resume wasn't no bueno at the time.
Really?
Yeah, so they're all like blowing me off. And then I finally got a hold of one. She was trying to send me to Iran. My mom's like, you're not going there. So then I was like, do you have any other type of opportunity? Like, I'm just trying to get out of the rat race.
Yeah.
And she's like, you can go to San Antonio and train with this guy who used to train with the Spurs, but you have to, like, pay out of pocket to go.
Uh-huh.
So I said, all right, I'm going. Drive my car to Texas.
Damn.
Ended up in San Antonio training with this guy, Tim Springer. And I trained with him for 2 months. And he's the first person to ever really, like, adjust my jump shot. So picture that. Intense training for 2 months, and then I had a WNBA combine. So on the day of the combine, played terrible.
Oh, man.
Just played booty.
Why?
Why? A
In
lot
your
of different
head?
reasons. Yeah.
In your head?
I was like, you know, there's flow, and then there's the opposite of
Complete
flow.
opposite.
I was over there.
Yeah.
And I could not find my way back.
Damn.
Yeah.
I
That's
know
the
about
worst.
that.
That's the worst.
I know about that. Wait,
It's the
let's talk
truth.
about that though. What do you think? What variables do you think create that side?
I
Is
think
it
a lot of thoughts, all
Yeah.
different kinds,
like judgment? Because it's yo
It's self-destructive.
being an athlete
Yeah.
though. Being an athlete, like there's an ugly side to it
Oh yeah,
because you're the product, right? So when you're at these combines, like they're analyzing you, like is this person worthy, right?
yeah,
And in your head, you're like, am I? You're wondering, am I worthy? Am I enough? Am I good enough? Right?
Well, in this moment, I knew I was enough, and I just wasn't showing it, and it was
Yeah.
irking me, and I just like couldn't get out of it.
Yeah.
And then circumstances are feeding into that.
Yeah.
So it was just everything was just no bueno on my side.
Not good.
So yeah, man, took the L. It was a big L. Like I spent so much money and time for this moment, and it was only one day, so like that was it. But I mean, I did what I knew how to do in those situations. I went to the rack, and I got a bunch of and-ones, but it didn't matter because they weren't even counting free throws.
Really?
So like it was like one of those tournaments they were just trying to keep it moving.
Yeah.
So like we got fouled, like you just got
Just
the point.
keep going.
Yeah.
Wow.
But so I got and-ones, the only thing to make me look good because I wasn't playing good. So I'm gonna just go to the rack,
Yeah.
get O boards, go to the rack,
Yeah.
and so yeah, I ended up getting fouls, but they didn't count that. So the only thing I was doing good wasn't really accounted for. So
Really? So wait, that's not necessarily your game? Like your game isn't going to the rack? Like, is that usually your game or?
yeah, I mean that's been me all along. I've always been just a scorer.
Yeah,
all
slasher,
along.
kind of get to the bucket.
Yeah,
Okay.
but then when I went to Monmouth, I was a shooting guard.
Yeah.
So I went from just all-around scorer to shooting guard,
Mm-hmm.
and from there on, like I'll play any position now, any position. So
Yeah.
now I just name myself as a scorer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Mighty, scorer.
Score.
Come get at me.
So
Yeah.
out of all of those experiences so far, then like your 3 different colleges that you've been to, playing overseas at the Globetrotters, like if you can compare them, where have you learned and have grown the most as a basketball player? Do you think?
I'd say all of them.
Yeah.
All of them,
together?
definitely, yeah. Because they're all different and they're all shaping you on whatever lesson I think you need to learn at that time.
Yeah.
So you took those L's.
Yeah, so I took the L's and ended up coming back up here, trying to figure out what I'm going to do next.
Yeah.
And at this point, I'm like tapped out, didn't have any money, didn't have really anything. So I was going to go back and play on this team in San Antonio. That was like a minor league team. So that was really my only option because overseas wasn't even starting yet. So this is like pre-overseas, just trying to get film. And my first game is in Oklahoma, and I tear out my shooting arm. The first game. So completely dislodged, 3rd degree, labrum tear.
God damn.
And, yeah, had to
back
come.
to the drawing board.
Yeah, back to the drawing board.
God damn.
So at that point, it's just straight surrender to life. I wasn't even mad anymore. Like, it was just like surrender. And so I came back up here to get the MRI, found out I didn't have to get surgery, but, like, they recommended it, but I didn't get it because I was already getting older. I'm like, this is my shooting arm, no way. So I ended up going back to Texas after I found out, tore my labrum. And at this point, I was, like, looking to get in the Airbnb world, just bopping around at these motels. And I talked about this on Bill's podcast, too, like, just about, like, the rags to riches side of it. Like, I was just like, I know one day it's going to be worth it. I didn't know what was going to happen, but just that power in that moment, I just knew that was going to be worth it somehow. And then I ended up crashing at one of my old teammates' house for a while. And during that time, that's when Isaiah Walker called me. He's my high school AAU coach. Firm. Yeah. Correct. He called me, and he's like, I got you a trial for the Globetrotters. So that really came out of absolutely nowhere. Came out of thin air when I was at the lowest of lows.
Damn.
So, I mean, I don't think anything is impossible at this point.
Well, you seem like you have that unwillingness to quit and give up.
Yeah.
That takes grit. So I think life kind of manifests itself around that unwillingness to give up. Like, you got that at the perfect time, it seemed like.
Yeah.
Just when shit was starting to look like,
this is it.
We're down and out. Yeah, like, it might be approaching the end. Like, you get that call, and, like, that shit must feel crazy.
Yeah.
It makes all of those long rides here and back to Texas, all them injuries, like them times you're just laying in your bed, you don't know what the fuck to do. It must make that all worth it.
Yeah, exactly. So now even, when things start to get weird, sometimes I feel like life starts to get weird and you start to question, like, but then I just think about that and I'm just like, well, God handed me that. I just stayed the course and kept doing what I was supposed to do, and I had to surrender, but then it happened, so.
That's the definition of just trusting the process.
Yeah.
To those who are really seeking, the world will make a way for you. Right?
Yeah.
The universe will really make a way for you.
Yeah.
But it's hard to think that way and have faith in that when you're going through all of it.
Yeah,
right?
but I think if you stay, you'll see.
Yeah. If you just keep seeking, if you keep an open mind, if you just keep going, it'll open itself to you.
Yeah.
I like what you say. Surrender though. Just surrender to the universe.
Had to.
Yeah, it's hard to.
I know, but in that moment, I had no choice though.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that was life making me.
Yeah.
Because I probably wouldn't have stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I'm like a bull, man. When shit's going wrong, I just try to get right through it.
Exactly. Until your arm gets cut off, and then you're like, all right, well,
right.
I guess that's it.
Maybe that's a lesson that needed to be learned from you at that time, though. Is just learn to just sit back,
trust
sometimes, and just trust. Yeah. And it works out that way.
Yeah.
It worked out. And so now you're playing for the Harlem Globetrotters. You're balling. I know you'll get to the WNBA. And we're going to give you that call. You better answer that phone when we call
no
you.
Doubt.
Or some tickets. Either the podcast or some tickets.
For sure.
You got to come catch a game or some shit.
Yeah.
That'll be fire.
But, I really like your energy, and I really appreciate your philosophies.
Thank you.
On things. And I share a lot of the things that you're able to talk about. But I think we're good.
Yeah, fuck
what do you
think? Yeah, absolutely. Give the people one last word. Anything you want to, tell to the people. I mean, this is you're from, what city are you from?
Pittston.
So this is kind of a neighboring city. This is right around where you were born and raised. If you have anything you could say to the kids here, because I know, like, especially in this area, and we've talked about this on a few other podcasts, it seems like athletics in general, but a lot of the times, even when we were coming up, basketball players around here were top notch. Like, there was amazing basketball players our entire time throughout high school. Even now, like, there's a lot of really great players, but like we touched on earlier, a lot of people seem to miss some of that grit or unwillingness to keep just going and persevere. And so what could you say to those people in this area so we can hopefully get more monsters out of this city?
I'd say just keep believing in yourself, regardless of what anyone else says. And whatever their beliefs are, you got to have your own beliefs, because only really you know what you can do.
Yes.
And even people that you may love dearly may not see what you see. They may not know what you know. So I think you got to just believe in that, even if you're the only one that knows, and just keep going till you get it.
Wow. Well, tell the people where they can find you. Tell them about your website. We could probably plug that. We'll plug everything in the description. But tell them where they can find your clothing. Tell them where they can find you on Instagram or any social medias that you keep up to date. Just tell them where they can find you.
So my Instagram and my TikTok are at WeAbolakid.
Okay.
I'm an OG. That was my AOL Instant Messenger.
That's tough.
Yeah, kept it.
So there you go. Yeah, we'll make sure to get all that shit plugged for you. But
Sure.
Go ahead.
And then Mia Hopkins World on Facebook, MiaHopkinsWorld.com. Everything's going to get plugged into there.
Yeah.
So.
And you got some Harlem Globetrotters game, anything like that coming up soon?
We got the Wilkes-Barre game, but it's unknown if I'll be there yet, so stay tuned.
Okay, well, yeah, stay tuned, guys. Make sure if she is there, go buy some fucking tickets. Go check it out. This has been a pleasure. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate
Very
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, guys. Love.
Peace, love.
Peace.
Boom.